Hello, welcome to Mastering Math with Seesaw. This will be a 30-minute webinar on ways you can use Seesaw in your math classroom. Hello, my name is Samantha Patton, and I am the math instructional coach at Hanley Elementary. In the years past, I was also a first grade and a second grade teacher, as well as an ESL teacher. I am from Garland, Texas. If you would like to follow me on Twitter, my account is at Mrs. Patton2, and feel free to email me with any questions or if you would like to collaborate, I would love that. And you can find me at spatton@garlandisd.net. I'm also a Seesaw ambassador, so if there are other ways you would like to see yourself using Seesaw, please reach out to me. My webinar moderator is Kelly Chinsky. She is a lower elementary Montessori teacher at Herforth Elementary, also in Garland, Texas. And you can find her on Twitter at Kelly_Chinsky. So what is Seesaw? Seesaw is a digital portfolio that collects students' digital work all in one place. It's very organized and it makes assessment and conferences so much easier. What I love most about Seesaw is that it's a space that students can own. There are lots of built-in tools that we'll be looking at today that help students to capture their learning, to reflect, and to develop on their new skills. Parents also love Seesaw because it's a fantastic communication tool that is able to share what's going on in the classroom and also helps to build a strong school and home community. So to take a look at Seesaw, for any of you who are brand new, this is what Seesaw looks like. At the top left-hand corner, you have all of your different classes that you are teaching or utilizing Seesaw with. If you'd like to create a new class, you just click on the plus sign where it says new class. One other thing I love about Seesaw, it's very user-friendly. On the main portion of the Seesaw page, you have all of your student work. So if I scroll down, I can see everything that students have posted onto their Seesaw journals. You can also look at it from a calendar view. And in this view, if students posted on a certain day, you will be able to see that. So I can see that there are 3 items that were added on the 25th of February and 2 items that were added on the 26th of February. I personally like the listed view. That way I can see exactly what was just added. To the right, you have your journal. From here, you can see all of the different students that are in this class. This is just a sample class that I use for presentations, so that's why I've only added numbers. But you could also add student names. Then to the right of that, you have your activities, which we will be discussing throughout this presentation. You have your inbox where you can send comments to parents and students. If you upgrade to Seesaw Plus, you also have skills. And then everybody who has Seesaw also can use a blog if they wish to do so. If you'd like to learn more on that, I've actually created another webinar that I would be happy to share with you. At the very top right-hand corner, there is a wrench. This is where you can change all of the settings for your class. So you can change the grade level, you can change your class icons. This is where you will add students and manage all of the content. Also, we go back to the wrench, you can add students by clicking on the plus sign. And then you can also add families, which is important if you would like to have parents or families get notifications on when students add to their journals. For the students to access their journals, they can either sign in using their email Google account. What I prefer to use, since I was a primary teacher, I felt like this was the fastest way to do so, was to use the QR code. And so if you do use the QR code, you will be able to print this document from Seesaw and it gives students the instructions on how to get logged in. And I actually would just make about 4 copies of this poster and I would post them around the room. I've also seen teachers who print a copy for every student and they put them in their journal or in their binder so that they can access the website extremely easily. You can use Seesaw on iPads, you can use it on Android devices, you can use it on Chromebooks. So, any type of device that you have, you will most likely be able to use Seesaw. So that was just a quick look. So we're going to be focusing on how to use Seesaw in the math classroom. So I'm going to start with the most simple ways for students to use Seesaw in the math classroom, and then I'll give more rigorous and a little bit more difficult ways for students to use it as well. But they're all very user friendly. So even though I say a little bit more difficult, students pick it up really fast. So if I go back to my um, page on Seesaw and I go back to journal, you'll see that there is a large green circle that has a plus sign. This is where students will add items to their journal. And we're going to first be focusing on posting to student journal. There are several different ways students can add to their journal. They can use photos, videos, drawings, add files, notes, and links. The reason why I think using Seesaw is so important is because it holds students accountable. One of the struggles that I saw in my second grade classroom was in math stations. I could always see that they were working, but I couldn't always tell if they were staying on task and doing what they were supposed to at each station. And I loved being able to find Seesaw because it helped my students stay accountable for the work that they were supposed to be doing because they would have to turn in some sort of project to show me exactly what they learned or what they did in that particular math station on that day. So we're going to start with photo. So photo is probably the most simple way for students to show their learning on Seesaw. Students will just take a photo of their work to post in their journal. Students can also add audio to explain their thinking, and they can also annotate using text. So I have several examples here. This first example down here at the bottom, that was actually a student working on subtraction and they were comparing two different things. So I could see that they used counters and they lined them up and they could tell the difference based on where there were red counters missing. I can also see that they were able to correctly identify a a number sentence that reflects that problem. Then looking here at the top, I can see that a student used 10 frames to draw on their 10 frames to represent counters, and they also used complete sentences to represent it. For example, it says, I have 8 counters on the top. Give me one moment. It looks like we're having a little bit of difficulty with technology. It happens. Okay. So I think we're back on track. So with the video, um, teachers can also post videos of their own model lesson to flip the learning. And I would also suggest them printing a QR to post at a math station or on an anchor chart. This is great for students that need information to be front loaded. Give me 1 second because it looks like we are still having technical difficulties. All right, I apologize for the delay. It looks like it should be working again. So like I was saying, video is a great way to support problem solving. It gives students choice and voice and encourages math talk. Teachers can post videos of themselves modeling a lesson to flip their learning. This is great for students who need the information front loaded. You can also print a QR to post at a math station or on an anchor chart, and I'll actually show you what that would look like. So I'm going to go back into my Seesaw. I'm just going to use this video that a student created to show you as an example. If you click on the three dots towards the bottom, and then you click on Get Item QR Code, so what you can do is you can actually print out this QR code and students can access this particular video from a device that they have. So it's a great tool. I would actually use this um, in the hallway to showcase student work. And so, as teachers or administrators or students are walking around with their own devices, they can use their QR to see the student work that I'm showcasing. All right. So moving on to the next task students can utilize using Seesaw is the drawing application, which is basically just a whiteboard app. Students can use the drawing feature to show their understanding of a math concept, and very similar to the video, this supports problem solving. It gives students choice and voice, and it really encourages math talk. So this is when I'm listening for academic language. And although I'm giving you lots of examples of primary, you can easily implement this in middle school and high school as well. So with this example at the top, this is a student who was adding numbers with decimals, and I can even tell that the student double checked using subtraction. And then there's also another example where a student created a type of word problem using emojis. Students love using emojis. And then you can also add audio on top of that so that the student can explain their thinking or read their word problem out loud. With the add file, students can add files from Google Drive or their computer to share on their journal. This would be great if you use Google products such as Google Sheets or Google Docs, any of those types of programs. You can easily add the files to their journals, and then parents will also get access to what the students uploaded. Teachers can also add files as well to share with students. So, similar to you taking a video of yourself modeling how to solve a problem to front load or review, You can also, if you create, a presentation to show to the class, you can go ahead and put it on their Seesaw journal so that they can access it from home. And that's actually what I did in my own Seesaw. So I'm going to go back to my journal, and you can see that I uploaded this presentation. And so if I click on it, it creates a PDF, and it takes just a few seconds to load. So you can see it created a PDF of the document. So if I use this in the classroom, then students would be able to access it anytime they needed it. There is a note function where students can add a note to their journal. They can write a problem, and then students can solve the problem by commenting. So just looking back at my journal, you can see here that anyone who views these journals can like different entries, or they can comment it. And if they want to comment, they just click comment here. So with that example, students could actually solve the problem and put their answer right here in the comment section. They could also write the steps it took to solve a problem, or they can summarize their learning that took place that day. The last option are links. Students and teachers can add links to websites to share on their journal. I know in a primary classroom, sometimes it takes a very long time for students to type in website names. So this would be a quick and easy way for them to practice math fluency, to work on coding, on Prodigy, Math Playground, or Quizlet, because they can easily access their Seesaw journal. So log into their Seesaw journal, hit the link, and it will take them straight to that website. I've seen many classrooms who utilize tic-tac-toe boards. These are great for differentiation because it gives a variety of different activities that students can use. This allows creativity while following your math standards. You can adapt the board to fit your units of study, and it's great for differentiation. So the ways I would use this is the students would take a tic-tac-toe board. They would choose which items that they would like to work on, and they would show their work in Seesaw, again, for them to be held accountable for the work that they are doing. And it saves a lot of paper. If you would like to access some examples of tic-tac-toe boards, all you have to do is click on the picture, and it'll bring up a Google Doc copy for you to use in your own time. So one of the newest features of Seesaw are the activities. So when you click the green circle with the plus sign, it gives you two options. You can browse activity library, or you can create or share an activity. So the first part we're going to focus on is the activity library. The activity library houses hundreds and hundreds of different activities that teachers have created that their students use in the classroom. The activities are free. You can have up to 100 of them in the regular Seesaw app. If you upgrade to Seesaw Plus, you can have up to 500. And if you are a Seesaw for schools, you can have an unlimited amount of activities. So I'm actually going to take you through that on the website. So you click the plus, browse activity library. From here, you can see that you have the Seesaw library, which is where I'm at right now. So you can do a trending search. You can look to see what has been popular this week. I can see there are lots of Dr. Seuss activities since we are going to be celebrating his birthday. So if you see a activity that you like, you just click on it, and you press the heart, and that saves it into your journal. Very, very easy. If you see it and you are ready to share it with your students, you just click share. You choose your class name. If you want to share it with the entire class, then you would just press share with one class. But if you want to differentiate and only give this activity to certain students, you can just click on the students you want to assign it to and then hit the check mark, submit. And so now it's only going to share it with the 3 students in my patent sample class, and I'll share it with them. So the next time my students sign into their journal, they will be able to see that they have an activity that is due. And go ahead and go back to the Seesaw library. If you are working on a certain skill, you can narrow it down. You can narrow it down by the grade. You can narrow it down by the subject. And then you can even add a specific search. I'm going to do plane shapes. So it gives me a variety of activities that I can assign to my students. You can also just click on the heart and that will save it into your library as well. So I'm going to go ahead and click on my library to show you where all of your activities will be housed. So you can see all of the different activities that I've added to my own library. With the Seesaw account, you can also have up to 2 collections. Right now I just have one, and I've labeled it math. So these are all of the different math activities that I have currently in my library. Going back to the presentation, I want to share a few activities that I've really enjoyed. So the first one is from a teacher called Kara Brem. She has access to a lot of different activities students can use. She is a middle school teacher, so if you are a middle school teacher, I would definitely check her out. So one of the activities I've enjoyed is which one doesn't belong, because math doesn't always have to be only one correct answer. Um, so this could be over 30, which one, there are over 30 different which one doesn't belong activities on Kara Brem's Seesaw. Students use this activity to figure out which number doesn't belong. So 3 have a similarity and then 1 doesn't. But there could be a variety of different answers. And I base that off of the students' justifications and their arguments to support their reasoning. And it's perfect for differentiating. So definitely, if you're in an intermediate grade or middle school, this is great problem solving. So with real world relationships, you could have a classroom or school wide scavenger hunt using whatever device you're using. And Seesaw, you can discover real world applications and determine student understanding in 30 seconds or less, because they can use the photos, they can use videos, they can use the audio to show their understanding of whatever skill they are working on. Another activity that I've discovered, and it's not all related to math, but it would be great for early finishers, are the breakout edu activities. So with this, the students will just click on the link to enter a digital breakout, and then they could play with a friend or they can play on their own. And once they're finished, they can explain how it went. Were they able to break out? Did the time run out? Was it easy? Was it difficult? Did you get a lot of help from a friend? Feel free to use emojis. So for those students who are early finishers and students who enjoy solving problems and puzzles and riddles, they would definitely enjoy the breakout edu. So again, to look for those, just go to the Seesaw library and search for breakout edu, and you'll find several different examples. And it just takes you to a link that takes you straight to the activity. So finally, creating activities on Seesaw. This gives you step-by-step instructions, but I'm going to go ahead and take you through there. So you go to, I'll go back to class. That way you can see it step by step. All right. So you click on the plus, create or share activity. And I apologize for the internet being a little bit slow. All right, so here I'm at my library. I'm going to create new activity. So since I've been in a first grade classroom recently, we're going to do plane shapes. Here you type the instructions for your students. So I'm going to say label the photograph with names of plane shapes you see using notes. So one thing that you might see while you are searching for activities is that in some of the instructions, it actually has the visual of like the note or the camera. If you look on my presentation, I've added a Seesaw icon shortcuts, and it'll take you to a link and it'll show you exactly what you need to type for this icon to appear. So as you can see, I typed that right here. So when it shows up for students, they'll actually see the notes icons, because a lot of times first graders, they're not fluent readers yet. So they might not be able to comprehend or decode every word that I typed, but they'll be able to see the notes icon and know that they need to answer notes. You could also add voice instructions or add multimedia instructions or an example. I like to add student templates when necessary. Photos, drawings, and notes work the best on here. So I'm going to click the plus. Then I'm going to click, I'm actually going to add a photo. Oops. Hi. I'm just kidding. I'm adding a file. All right. I'm adding a photo from my computer. So I'm going into my computer. It's just taking it a few seconds to come up. I took a picture of my office earlier, and so that is the photograph that I am adding from my computer. So you can actually add up to 10 photos, and then I'm going to click the check mark. Right, so from here, students can actually label on top of the photograph, or they could draw, or they could record their answer. So originally I was going to have them use notes, but because they are able to easily annotate on top of the picture, that's what I'm going to have them do. So I'm going to click on the check mark. And I'm going to edit my instructions. And then, let's see. I'm going to look to see if there is, yes, an icon for label. So I can see if they want to add label, I need to add that T, or the it looks like this. Double check that that's it. Yes. Okay. So from here, I'm going to click save. And it's going to add it to my activity library. So as you can see, the shortcut, it created the label icon so that students know exactly what they can use to label this photograph. So when I go and check student work, I'm gonna hope that I see some labels for different rectangles and a circle based on this picture. So it's a great DOL or demonstration of their learning or an exit ticket. And again, there are detailed instructions on how to create the activity. So that's the end of my presentation. I hope you gain some ideas on ways you can implement Seesaw in your math classroom. If you have ideas that you would like to share with me, please, please, please reach out to me on Twitter or email me. If you are from Garland ISD, just give me one moment and I will make sure that the CPE link is added to our chat so that you are able to get credit for joining us. All right, take care. Thank you.